thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today on building your content strategy and shining through video. We've got lots of tips and tricks to share with you all, so let's jump right into it. My name is Mavi, and my username is @justmavi on about every social media platform, including Poshmark. And today I'm joined by two lovely ladies who are killing it on Instagram and TikTok. Julia, let's start with you, and then Sonia, we can head over with you as well. And just tell us a little about yourself, how you got started on Poshmark.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Awesome. I just want to say thank you to Mavi and to Poshmark for having me here. This is a true pinch me moment. To be selling on Poshmark for 10 years and then finally be here just to speak to everybody is just completely awesome. My name is Juliet Spines on Poshmark and all social channels. So that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And Threads, if that's still a thing. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I started selling on Poshmark, let's say realistically 6 years ago. And I have 2 kiddos, and they are my world. And because my daughter needs special care, I was able to lean on Poshmark and really develop my business out of Poshmark. And then I was able to talk about it on social media. And so Poshmark helped me be an expert on social media, which just blossomed into a wonderful following. So that's me in a nutshell.
Hi everybody, my name is Sonia. I'm Grateful Posher on Poshmark, on Instagram, wherever you follow me. I started realistically, really full-time on Poshmark. I would say 2 years ago when the pandemic hit. I think most of us all said, what can I do on Poshmark? And it just has kind of taken off, and then live sales came out and everything changed for me. So I have been a full-time seller. Once I quit my job, I never looked back, and I am this is what I do now. So this is so exciting to be here and chit-chat with you guys about social media and how you can use it to grow your business too.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so just to get started, we want to get a gauge of our audience here today. We'll be talking all about social media. Can I have you guys raise your hand if you're on TikTok and Instagram? Perfect, and keep your hand up if you're creating Reels and TikToks. Perfect, okay. And then raise your hand if you have a content video strategy for your videos. Perfect, okay, this is great. And if you didn't raise your hand, we're happy to see you and have you here. Today we're going to talk about all things building your own content strategy and letting it shine through video. Perfect. So I'm going to go through some video stats that we're seeing today in the social media world. Short form video statistics speaks for themselves. The data behind short form video doesn't lie. It's truly the winner here. Here are a few stats that prove that the value in short form video. So consumers find short form video to be 2 times greater than long form video. TikTok is the most engaging social platform by engagement rate. 55% of TikTok users have bought something after seeing it on the app. That's really good to know. And then Reels account for almost 20% of the time people spend on Instagram, so lots of video content is being consumed. And then as of June 22, YouTube Shorts topped 5 billion monthly active users. So as you can see, video is really just taking it by storm. So we're gonna jump right into developing a content strategy. So, perfect. So before we kick this off and talk about all about developing your own content strategy, I want to have our speakers here share a few of their videos. Sonia, I'm going to share a few of your videos first.
It's so awkward seeing yourself.
That is pretty good, honestly.
That's
true. Wait till you see mine.
It's giving Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, okay.
It's just me drinking a Diet Coke.
Writing on top. We don't have to play it.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay.
I promise that's it.
Can you take us through how you got started on video creation and how someone can get started with your guide to content pillars?
Absolutely. So we all know I'm a huge Instagram girl. It was all photos for the longest time, and once Reels came out, it was kind of like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, you gotta move from the photos into videos. So I really feel like I just got thrown in there. And as a person with very high OCD, I'm gonna tell you, it is like 10 times easier to do content as a video format versus a photo, because you're not trying to get that perfect shot every single time. You can be yourself. You can show people your personality, you can show your values, things like that. So when really we got pushed into Reels, it was like honestly a blessing in disguise, and you just kind of figure it out as you go. For me personally, I am very much, I follow my content pillars. So you saw 3 examples. I do educational, promotional, inspirational, and entertaining. Meaning each of my videos have something behind it, right? So educational, think styling videos, posh tips, social media tips. You wanna give that value. For promotional, you guys, it's the best platform, I mean, even on TikTok, to promote your live sales, to promote what's happening. And that's what that second video was, just showing random pieces that sold in a show, just to get people to be like, oh, that's cute, I wanna see her next show. It's like a shameless plug for your shows. Inspirational, that was the last video you guys saw. It's sharing your story so people can connect with why you're doing what you're doing, you know? It's being able to tell people this is where I came from, you know, and this is where I'm at now. And of course, entertaining, because everybody wants a good laugh, and that was the first video you guys saw, is just jumping on those trends that are popular on TikTok and Instagram and just making it into your own.
I love that. I love that you have these pillars. We have something very similar at our own social team here at Poshmark. So I love that you've incorporated it into your business. Perfect. And then I have one more video. So Julia, I would love for you to also share with you your content strategy. We'll share a video first so people can get a little taste of the type of content you're creating.
I spent $12 on a bucket of purses that will flip for $300. This yard sale was selling purses for $2 each. Check out what I found. It took me seconds to realize that all of the purses she had were quality, so I bought the entire box, and here's what I got. The first bag that I picked up was a Fry Madison bag. Now, Fry is usually known for their boots, but their bags do really well as well. This Madison bag should get me between $100 and $150. This was an all-leather Costanza Rota leather bag, which I should be able to get around $50 for. But some can resell for up to $100. I should be able to get $20 for this new with tag red clutch. It's so cute. Now, I'm not too familiar with this next brand, but the shape on this purse was really cool because it looks like a doctor's medicine bag, and it's got a rust orange color, which I thought was great for fall. And it looks to resell for around $100. This is a leather Valentina bag, should sell for $30 to $40. Leather brand Margot does sell well for me, around $30 to $40. One of my favorite brands to find is Dooney & Burke, and this one does have a little bit of red stain, but I should be able to get $50 for this bag. Tell me, have you heard of these brands? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah. Right, and I feel like that's what captures people. It's entertaining, it's informational, it's all those things. So you can do all those things in one video, and I realized that on TikTok that I was able to show multiple sides of myself with a little bit longer forms than just small vignettes, and that's what I was capable of doing. With the content strategy, I challenge you all to go and look at your analytics currently on each of these apps and see where you're at. See how many followers you have. Try and write that down. And then when you do something like that, you're able to see where you started. So if you do have growth, you can refer back to that growth and say why it happened and what video caused that growth. It can be really hard if you have a couple videos out that are trending or doing well to figure out which one it is, but definitely track those metrics. I think that's really important. And then I do have a 5 scenario step that I highly suggest using as well, that I use. It's important to stay consistent, recap weekly what works for you, and then do a weekly or and weekly analysis. That's a little typo, but I'm allowed to mess up. That's what TikTok is for. So do you have the next slide for that? So what I did, I'm a process manager by trade. I did that for 11 years. I worked in marketing and branding, and I said I need to create a process for this content strategy. And I decided that I would use 5 different scenarios, and I created these 5 different styles of video, and I put them all out on my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, my Facebook, and I just saw what worked. I saw how difficult it was for me to make each of these videos, and I didn't let boundaries kind of stop me. So I even filmed a 5-minute haul video, which got me 13 million views on TikTok. And that was when I really popped off, and I was able to hit 100,000 followers from following this plan for 6 weeks. So it was really, I cast a wide net, and then I was able to taper it down after the 6 weeks to 1 or 3 videos that I really wanted to move forward with. So that's what I suggest, because I think sometimes you can think something's working, but you're like, why isn't this working? And if you see how other pieces of your videos do, you can kind of put it all together. Like the video I showed had a little bit of real life, you were at the yard sale with me. Also, it had information. You also saw what you could pick up yourself. So I was capturing consumers. I was capturing other resellers. I was capturing intrigue, just because purse lovers are out there. So I was able to capture all of that, and that's what I stick with, and that was one of my pillars I created. So that's what I went off of to create my strategy.
Perfect, thank you. I love how you laid it out into 5 steps. I think that just makes it so easy and just easy for success as well.
And you notice there's different lengths, and that's on purpose. So if you want to take a picture of this, I also have it in my links on my socials if you wanted to see it. But
So, sorry, is it 5 steps, or is 5 different separate scenarios that, like, I would do 5 and that's it, or should I do? I shouldn't say have to. Should I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
So what you're gonna do, like scenario 1, you're gonna say, okay, that's like a trending audio. It's gonna be 7 seconds to 20 seconds, and I'm gonna put that type of video out there, kind of like Sonia did. And then the second one, I would say, the length is 30 to 60 seconds, so maybe this is a helpful reseller tip. Maybe this is showing off a bag and why it's worth as much as it's worth. But what you're gonna do is stay inside those little parameters and keep creating those, because the first video you have may have like 500 followers, then you're gonna get those 500, and then it's gonna turn into 1,000 for the next one. And then it's gonna build off of each other. And if they don't go anywhere, you're gonna realize that this isn't something that people want to see. I can squash this, you know, and that's what I say weekly recaps is to really capture what's working that week, so you don't forget about it at the end of 5 or 6 weeks, however long you do it. And this is really, I'm like showing my true corporate colors, because this is like, but it worked for me, and I was so surprised that it worked, so.
So should you do like 1 of each per week? Like Mondays, I'll do 1. Tuesday, I'll do 2. Wednesday, I'll do number 3. Thursday, I'll do number 4. Friday, I'll do number 5.
I would say, if you try and follow something to a T, it's gonna drive you crazy. I would say find a flow that works for you, and see what you do daily. I mean, if you wanna put thrifting videos out every Wednesday, but you go thrifting on Sunday, it might not line up. So see how you go, what your flow is in a week, and capture that, and then see what kind of content can I put out. You could put out a 5-minute video, and then use that for every one, and cut it down, and make it for every one of these other steps. So it really can be as simple or as a variety as you want it to be.
And I love the questions coming in, but we will have a Q&A at the end, so we can just say to them, and then they'll answer all the questions at the end.
My phone, it's just on my phone.
It was just your phone? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to kind of continue on with some questions, and hopefully this answers some of your questions as well. How do you incorporate valuable content for your audience? What type of content is working for you? Juliet, I know you're really connected with your audience over on TikTok. What's working for you, and what type of content is valuable? Tips on hooks to engage your audience.
So I think a big thing on TikTok was I found a community. First and foremost, I found a community. I watched other people, I engaged with them, and I realized quickly if I cheered them on, they would cheer me on. So I highly suggest you just love bomb people and just comment on their stuff. We all love engagement, right? So it is a sign of endearment to other creators. So that's what I did first. And then I just got in this reseller community on TikTok, and we were like a whole new wave of resellers. It wasn't the YouTube resellers, it was a different perspective. So how I generate value, I try to show what things are worth on Poshmark or eBay, and I try to show like sold comps and what you can really realistically get for it. I try to be as true to like as honest as I can be, because this is like, you can get $20 for a purse, but sometimes like it's $5 and you just miss the mark on it. Or so I try to bring value in that way. With hooks, honestly, you have 3 to 5 seconds. And if you are using that 3 to 5 seconds to say, hi everyone, you've lost them. You have to say, guess what I found at this yard sale today? And it might sound cheesy, it might sound corny. I didn't want to be a salesman like that in my videos, but they consistently did well, and you can't like fight it. So you have 3 to 5 seconds to show compassion or to show shock and awe, and I would say use them wisely, and then provide the solution in that body.
I love that. Sonia, let's talk about your Reels content. We see those trending videos work really well for you. How do you create these for your audience? How do you jump on these timely trends?
I hate to admit it, but I'm a scroller. I spend hours scrolling sometimes because it's like my Netflix for the day. And honestly, once you see that trend, I'm a true believer in creating content in the moment. So if something is trending in that moment, I'm like, how can I make this about reselling or for my buyers? My Instagram is really targeted to the buyer side of it. So I know we're all resellers, but we're also all buyers. So for me, I always look at it as, what kind of content can I make to get my buyer into my shows, to my Poshmark? And so the big thing is just finding those quick trends that you can convert and create it in, you know, it might be like a fashion outfit or whatever is trending currently, like that funny one, you know. How can I make that into something that will, my buyers will kind of see it and be like, okay, what's this girl doing over here? And then get them to click. But just like Julia said, it's all about, you've got those 10 seconds. I'm a short reel, I don't have a lot of time, so I like to do very quick BRoll videos, get that content up, and give them the good stuff, the meat, as you say, in the post copy, and give them that call of action to get them back to your Poshmark.
Perfect. I think one thing I really love about today's speakers is that you guys both create really successful content, and it's like you mentioned, yours is really short, and Julia, yours is a little bit longer. You like to tell a full story, and just really allows us to know that there's a space for all of us in the creating world. So I just love that we have you guys today. So let's do the next question. So you've created the content. What are you using to edit these videos? Are you editing in-app, other apps? Give us all those tips and tricks that are working for you. Juliet, let's go over to you. What are some tips you have for editing your videos?
My number one tip is don't film in-app. It's to take it out of the app and to film on your phone so that you have that video, that raw kind of image or video, so that you can take it into a editing app like CapCut, which is what I use mainly, or InShot. There's a few other ones, and I will cut it down to that specific social channel that I'm posting on. So there are different reasons why you would post a minute. There are different reasons why you post 90 seconds, and that's why I like to have that extra video, so that if I want to make it 30 seconds longer, I can add in a little plug of, like, say I had 2 more purses to add in, I could just add in 2 more purses to make it that 90 seconds instead of just a minute and 2 seconds. So that's why I really like to film outside of apps, so that I can repurpose them on all of the apps and any social channel.
I'm a loyal CapCut and InShot user, so I love that plug.
Yeah.
Sonia, I know you like to edit also outside of the app, but could you also share with us when you choose to use CapCut and then use Instagram templates?
Absolutely. So I am also a CapCut girl because, let me tell you, Instagram it can be very tricky. Every once in a while, you will lose your content after you spend 30 minutes working on it, and it is the worst feeling having to redo it. So when you go to CapCut, you know you have your content in there, and you can, like Juliet said, break it down into smaller pieces too. Really, the only time I'm using Instagram to edit my photo or my videos would be if there is a template. So now, if somebody takes the time to edit a video inside of Instagram to create, like, with certain sounds, like, so it clicks, you know, and it hits the beats, whatever it may be, it will generate a template, and you can literally click template and it'll say upload 10 videos, 5 videos, and it'll automatically put it to the sound. That is literally probably the only time when I will use Instagram to edit. For the most part, it's always gonna be in CapCut, because for me, it's just a fear of losing that video again. And you want that raw video, the original video that you can repurpose and continue to repurpose.
Perfect. And then shameless plug, we do have a session after with Meta. They'll be talking all about templates. So kind of giving you like a little mini version here, but just plugging that in. Okay, so let's talk about sounds. Reels and TikTok has no shortage of sounds. How do you know what sounds to use? Julia, I'm gonna kick this question to you.
So in the beginning, I leaned on sounds to kind of get me started and get me in a comfort zone. But if you notice now, I use mostly voiceover. I have a hard time with attention, and I tend to not be able to focus on a song I really like and what somebody is saying. So I was like, well, if I can't do it, then I'm just gonna take away the song. And it's really scary at first, but if your videos are quick and really to the point, then people listen. And I think that's something. But I will say, background music on a vlog or something like that, where you are voicing over, can be really valuable too. But I don't use too many trending audios because they're short, and I like a little bit longer form content. So.
Then Sonia, I would love to hear any tactics that you use to find these trending sounds. I know you love a trend video, so share it with us.
You're trendy today. So if you're scrolling within Reels, again, I'm a scroller. Once you find one video, do you guys know how to find it? Does anybody know? No? Okay, so when you're scrolling, just go into the Reels area, scroll until you see by a sound, it's like an uptick arrow. That means it's a current trend. So if you click on that, it'll pull up the top 50 songs that are currently trending. And then you can go in and pick your sound, what works for you, and then you can click on that sound and it'll give you all these ideas of everybody else that's done it, and then you just kind of flip it and make it into what works for your audience. But that's honestly how I find my sounds, and it's usually very quick. I try to keep it pretty mellow in the background noise, unless it's like a trending, certain sound where there's certain things that you want to do because that's what people are liking. But I feel like if you do use the trending sounds, make sure that the trending sound, I would say a good under 2,000 videos. I don't know how you feel about that, but 2,000 is a good spot for me. Anything over like 30,000 videos already made, the likelihood of you showing up as one of the top videos in that sound is a lot lower. So you want to find those like 500. I think I had one that was like 70 not too long ago. I was like, yes, let's get in. Like while it's still early there.
I love that tip. Another tip that I have on sounds is, I don't know if you guys do this, but when you see a sound and you save it, sometimes Instagram will send you a notification like, hey, this sound is trending. So sometimes it's just good to save the sounds, whether it's you're gonna plan to use it or not. Instagram will do the homework for you and be like, hey, make a video, this is trending right now. So I think that's just one other tip.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So creating engaging captions is an essential aspect of content platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Are there any specific strategies or tips that you found particularly effective for you guys? Julie, I'll kick this off.
Okay. So my captions are different for every social site, which is exhausting, right? That stinks. But you have to think of how visually it's going to be seen. Since TikTok is mostly Gen Z, I try to be quirky and cool. So I'd be like, this is crazy, right? And then use hashtags and whatever. On Facebook, though, I noticed using a question right away really captures people to want to engage. Like, did you see that thing at the end? And then they're like, what? Okay, I'll stay and watch the whole video. And then Instagram, we've heard, and I may try to confirm this in the next, that in your copy, you want to write more so that you are being flagged in SEO and search. So I try to do that for all those different things. And then YouTube, you get like 6 characters, so good luck.
And then Sonia, I took a look at your Instagram captions. I noticed you had like some bulky ones. Do you have any tips for those?
I would say always, think of it as a storytelling. So give a problem, give a solution. What was the problem? What was your solution? I always start with a question too. I try to get you right away. What do you think about this? Do you do this? And then always end it with a call of action, because if you're posting and you're not asking your followers to do something, it's you might as well just delete the video. You want to tell them what to do. People want to be told, go check out this, go get this, you know, look over here, click on this link, click on my bio, whatever it may be. Give them a call of action at all times. Always end it, no matter where you're posting, call of action.
I second that, big time.
Love that. We do that at Poshmark too. I don't know if you guys noticed. But next part. So there's a saying that goes, think like a marketer, act like a creator. This really comes down to creating content that drives traffic to your business. Sonia, I know you use videos to drive traffic to your Poshmark closet. Can you share your process with us? And then what type of content are you creating for that?
Absolutely. If at any point, one of my pillars is promotional, right? Shameless plug. Always promote yourself. Just, you don't want to be like, buy this right here, right now. Oh my, you know, but you want it to be, not casual, but you want it to be inviting for people to be like, oh, what is she doing? You know, and of course the call of action. But the biggest thing is, do not be afraid to share your videos on other platforms. So, you know, Juliet does that too, and she kind of changes it up based on like where she posts it. For me, I always share it to your stories, add a link. Always, no matter what, always add it to your stories. My biggest thing too is Pinterest. If you guys are not on Pinterest, you are missing out so much. Google, TikTok, Pinterest, like the biggest three search engines available to us for free. Like, the more you post on Pinterest, you will get traffic from there as well. So repurpose your videos, post them on there, because now you can add links to your videos too. So it just pushes people to really wherever you want it to go.
Perfect. And then Julia, I would love to hear from you as well. What type of content are you creating to drive traffic to your Poshmark closet?
So when you show a thrift haul or what you're opening or what you find at a yard sale, people are going to be intrigued, and if they want that thing, they're going to ask you how they shop that item. With TikTok, you're not able to, the only thing you're allowed to say is like link in bio, but that's what I do, or I say, which can get flagged, but you can also just say, you can shop my Poshmark, and people on TikTok know to go to your profile, click your link, and then it opens up the whole world of your whole showcase. So that's what I've done on TikTok. But like you saw, they know the prices to expect because they know what I can get for them. So I was setting expectations of what my prices should be. Yeah, I got it for $2, but that was my luck. I did the hustle. If you want the item, it's gonna be a higher range for you. But they don't want to look anymore. With the biggest thing, and if you are not on Facebook, this is where I say there's a very big market to capture. If people commented on that video that they liked a purse, in the comments you're able to put the direct link to that purse. I sold every video in that purse within the first 24 hours. So I had that footage, then I went home, I posted all of the purses, I put them live right before I launched the video, and then I had all the links to send to my people. So it was a very direct way to, and this just happened this week. I sent the video, I was like, we have to put this one, this drives it home. But otherwise you can just say it's in my link in bio. So if you don't have a link in bio, feel free to check out both of our social pages and see what they look like, because they're really, really good resource to direct to your Poshmark.
Can I just add to that? I'm so glad you brought that up, because if you guys share your finds, you will most often, I would say, at least 40% of the time, somebody will say, where can I get that?
Mm-hmm.
I have literally was driving home from shopping and people messaging me, I need that today, don't post it, how do I get it ASAP? And I'm like, we're gonna list it on Poshmark so I can protect myself. But people, you would be surprised how many people want to shop what they see right there and then. They're like, I don't want anybody else to have this, I need it now. And that's when you can set your prices way higher, because you already know they're not checking comps, they're not looking around, they want what you have. So that's a great plug for sure. Do that.
I love that too. Kind of heading over to our last question before we open Q&A. What tip do you wish you knew before you got started creating videos that someone who's just getting started would want to know? Julie, do you want to start?
If you, I don't want to welcome everybody to do this, but if you go back to my first videos, they are so sad. But I was scared, but I did it anyway. I didn't have good lighting, but I did it anyway. And I posted, and people were there to cheer me on, and what they liked that I was weird, and they liked that I was raw, and they enjoyed it. You know, I'll post a very polished, interactive video like that one, but then it'll be followed by me talking head with no hook, with nothing, just to connect with my community that I've created. So just post, just start posting. And you don't have to tell your friends, you don't have to tell your parents, you don't have to tell anybody. I started my TikTok and no one knew about it because I was like, you ain't helping me, no. But I think on Instagram I had asked my friends to follow me, to help me, and I became so self-conscious that when I opened my TikTok and nobody knew that I was there, I was like, no contacts, direct, like, do not sync my contacts. And it gave me the freedom to be myself, and people enjoyed me, and that was so validating.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Ditto. Definitely find, you know, your posh besties that you guys can like cheer each other on and comment, because those first few comments are like gold. But the biggest thing is, do not overthink it. Like, I know it sounds scary. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't edit all of this. Just BRoll. Listen, just take your phone out. If you are not taking a million videos right now of the setups, of you walking down the street, of you eating, of the restaurant, you are missing out so much. Just take the BRoll, and then you can figure out how you can implement that into your social media. It can be literally as simple as that. It doesn't have to be this like scary thing. Like, that's my life. I'm like, oh, here we go, BRoll. You guys saw us take video right before we started with the little cheersy, like, of the microphones. BRoll. Like, it's so simple. Don't overthink it. Have fun with it. And yeah, I do the same thing. I make fun of myself. If you guys have never been in my Posh shows, they're a little hectic. And I literally make fun of myself in some of the videos of like how I start dancing and have a good time. So just have fun with it. You know, do not be afraid to have a good time. And I promise it's gonna all work out as long as you're consistent and don't overthink it. You'll be good, I promise.
Love that. And I love that also you shared that video of you drinking a Diet Coke. That was BRoll.
Yeah.
And it was just like great content that blew up. So
Yeah, that was Dana. I was like, maybe I'm just gonna do this real quick and
Oh.
right off the dinner, okay?
Those words. Just like film something real quick. Like, okay.
perfect. Okay, so that kind of concludes our area for now, but I'd love to open the floor if anybody has any questions. Maybe raise your hand and we can have Eric.
I have a question that, so like all of your social media, so everything is seamless, right? So do you put, like for example TikTok, do you put like a link in bio on TikTok and you do the same, like you use Linktree, or how do you like connect all of your social media then? Okay.
So I don't hear you back, I'm sorry.
So yeah, I don't want anybody to hear me.
No, it's okay. You're helping everybody else out too.
Yeah. So like how do you like connect everything? Like it's, you know, what do you do? What is your
I'm a big Linktree user, so it's one click. So when you tell somebody, go to my links, they have all these options. Obviously my Poshmark store, and it does this little wiggle to get your attention, because that's where I want you to go. And then there's, I think, like my podcast and things like that. And then all of my socials are at the bottom as well. But the biggest thing is put your links that you want people to go to first, and then you can do your affiliates if you have affiliates, or you know, whatever you're promoting, whatever you got going on. But I always use Linktree just because it's a lot easier. You ask them to click once and they can see everything that you have to offer.
But you put that into your story for all of your socials, so on TikTok, on Instagram.
Yep, they all allow a link in some form, and Linktree is free, so definitely it's something to start out, get it started with, and connect your socials if that's all you have, or you closets.
Perfect. And then have some, take the one over here really quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm pretty loud. You get a lot of haters. Tell me about my haters.
Yes. This is new to me. So TikTok, I was in this wonderful community. When you get more positive, the haters don't tend to come in because they know that they're going to be there's going to be positive reinforcement to that. And what I say to the haters, I got a lot on Facebook. I think it's just a different generation, and they don't understand what we're trying to do, it doesn't bother me, and I think that's unfair to say for everybody, but once I started making sales off of these things, and I am so happy as a person, and I truly believe in the content that I'm making is valuable and an asset to so many people that just want a way out of certain situations, I'm all right with it. You know what I mean? And they aren't attacking me personally. They usually attack videos where my face isn't in it. They say, how could you? But when my face is in it, they're like, oh, I won't yell at her. But if I'm faceless, they will hate that person, whoever she is. But I just get over it, honestly.
And we'll actually use the mic just to make sure everybody gets even time on the question. So raise your hand if you have a question.
Pretty fast too.
Okay, perfect. Eric, take it away.
Here we go.
I actually have a segue on the haters, but like, how do you have boundaries for your personal and your social media and your family life or your personal life and social media?
When people are like, should I start a new Instagram? Absolutely not, because you are the brand. It's not the product, it's not, if it's Poshmark obviously, but you are the brand. So people want to shop from you. People want to get to know you. Yes, you have this great product. So for me, I just incorporated everything. I show my little dogs, I show my husband, and then I talk about Poshmark. It's having those different pillars so that you know to touch on every little subject, so you're getting a variation and you're not just like, buy, come to my show, buy. You're showing a little bit of your personal life, you're showing a little bit of your shopping. For me, I post everything as from a buyer's perspective, so I don't get a lot of hate at all, because I'm like, I try to make more trendy fashion videos and teach you how to, put things together and fun stuff like that. So I, knock on wood, have not gotten anybody mean to me yet. But I think if you look at yourself as a brand and just learn to kind of work your social media as one whole marketing strategy, it's gonna do a lot better than having a personal and a Poshmark business account. Yeah. Thank you. Next question.
Only I do have kids, so I keep them separate. And I noticed that early on that some of my kids' videos were being favorited, and I couldn't figure out why. And that was something that I was like, okay, that's a boundary. And while they want to be in some things, they really do. They ask me, they want to be YouTube stars when they get older, they want to be influencers. So I say to them, this is on here forever, are you okay with that? And they're 7 and 8, so yeah. But I try to really protect them, and that is a boundary that you have to feel out yourself. And you have to almost make that mistake, but you can private everything if you make that and you feel uncomfortable in that boundary, and just be able to take that step back, and it'll be okay.
I blur out my daughter's face.
Yes, I've seen a lot of people do that.
With an emoji over it.
And it's brilliant.
So can I just add on to that? If it's just totally side thing, make sure you're editing and then saving it, because a lot of people can remove. If you want to blur your kids' faces, there are apps that you can remove.
Unblur it.
Yep, you can unblur it. You can take the smiley faces off. So you kind of want to almost like save it.
I mean, I do that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Surprise.
Next question. Kind.
Okay.
How do you balance the amount of time you spend on all of these social media activities versus the amount of income you're bringing in? Like, your hourly balance, I guess. How does that work for you guys?
I am addicted to creating content. I truly love it, and it is my passion, but it doesn't always make the money. I need to resell things to also do that. So I carve out one day that I say, you're not allowed to make content today. You have to get, X amount of things listed. And then I allow myself to list throughout the week if I can, like more items throughout the week if I can. Because sometimes content comes easier on some days, and sometimes it doesn't. There's sometimes I edited this video for 4 hours, and I don't want to say that, but then I'm really satisfied too from that. That's something I drive value in, so.
This is why I love BRoll, because I literally live my life and I just take random videos that then I'm like, oh, there's this sound. I know I have an extra video somewhere. I love videos where I'm not driving, I'm pretending I'm driving, and there's a camera right here and I'm just looking straight ahead. I get those all the time and I repurpose them. There's so many different things that you can do that are simple, that don't take a lot of time. But for me, I treat Poshmark like my own boutique website. I don't rely on Poshmark for traffic. I don't do any of that. And I look at it as I am marketing my store and I rely on the clicks that come from social media. I get about 100 to 200 clicks directly from Instagram into my Poshmark. You know, I check those statistics on a regular basis, and those are, you know, I know that that's going to translate into sales at some point. And so content is so important because you're promoting your business, and once you put that effort into content, I mean, even I had one TikTok that went crazy viral and it was like thousands of clicks, and I messaged her and I was like, what's happening right now? This is crazy. And that can happen from social media. You know, you want to be able to monetize your social media followers to build your Poshmark, and I think if you can wrap your head around that, the simple B-rolls will get them to your closet, and that will translate into sales.
Perfect. We'll take one last question because I know we do want to take a quick piece of content.
If you're starting to, basically I don't really have anything posted from my closet on my social media pages, what would be like the first good few videos? Is it like introductory videos, just jump in and do like random videos? Like what's a good way to kind of get some stuff flowing?
I would say do one introduction. Just, you know, stand in front of the camera, hi, this is who I am. You could do like that one simple one where I was just drinking a Diet Coke and put your story in there really quickly, because people will pause to read that. And just get those really quick B-roll ones where it's gonna get people's attention. They're like, okay, this is what I'm getting here. And then kind of you can start, I don't wanna say scroll too much, but you can scroll and kind of get ideas of what works for you and what you wanna talk about and what are your personal pillars of content that you wanna focus on.
Perfect, thank you. This just about sums up our session.